Hi, I'm Mike.
And I'm Ash.
And this is F1 Fanatics. Right guys, so we have just about covered the German Grand Prix and you're like, oh, I really want some F1 action. Well, lucky for you, there is another race weekend this weekend. It's back to back, and this week we are at Hungary. It is a 4.381 kilometre lap. There are 70 race laps, 14 corners. The track record is held by Michael Schumacher with a 1 minute 19.0 something. I've forgotten off the top of my head, but it was quick. And then we have, it was its first race in 1986, and it's been a regular fixture in the F1 calendar ever since. Ash?
And driver stat wise, Hamilton has currently got 6 race wins at the Hungarian, and we'll be looking to try and get a 7th this weekend. In the last 2 years, it has been a very successful track for Ferrari, having 2 drivers on the podium for both of the last 2 seasons. And then it has been a good track in regards to Finnish drivers. So Mika Häkkinen has won there twice. Kimi Räikkönen has won there in 2005. And Heikki Kovalainen took his sole F1 win at the Hungarian. So maybe have a look out for either a Bottas win or a surprise Räikkönen win in the Alpha.
Oh, go on, Kimi. Right, moving on to what you guys would obviously love. It is the return of Mike's amateur lap. Obviously, I really should be wearing your Red Bull top this week because I drove it round in the Red Bull because although I haven't necessarily done well in terms of podium, it is a track that suits the Red Bull car, and I reckon they might do well this weekend, but more to follow. Anyway, guys, here is Mike's amateur lap.
Okay guys, here we are for another Mike's Amateur Laps, and this week we are at the Hungarian and I'm in the Red Bull. Are you ready for this? I can promise you that this is a terrible lap. But let's keep going. Anyway, here we go into turn 1 and get down, and it's already started badly, going deep into the corner. And I'm pushing down on the throttle. We are approaching the slow left-hander, which is turn 2 in the race. Get all the way down. Oh, I've gone wide as well. Unbelievable. This has not started well. Anyway, full on the accelerator. Here we go. Pace, pace, pace. This is where we are getting to, guys. Sweeping round into turn 4 there, and then turn 5 here is a slow right-hander. And again, it's becoming a bit of a theme in this lap. I'm going too deep into the corner. Brake, Michael. Brake. Right, and yeah, missed the apex again. That was a great set through kind of corners 6 and 7. Anyway, turn 8. Turn 9, and this lap is flying by. Hungarian is a quick lap round here, guys, and I'm making it look slow. Anyway, carry on. Turning through turn 11 there, all the way running down into turn 12 here, which is quite a sharp right-hander. Get close to the apex. Oh, that wasn't actually too terrible. So that's good. Anyway, slow, really slow left-hander there. And then finishing off with a slow right-hander. It is a really aerodynamic circuit here, guys, and this is why the Red Bull tends to really enjoy this circuit. Anyway, there it is. Hope you enjoy.
Okay, guys, and hope you enjoyed it there. It was, again, another sensational lap by me. I'm just waiting
For the lap record.
Well, not the lap record. I'm waiting for the call-up. Who's going to sign me up on the contract? I'm getting a drive next year. You know who's looking for that 2020 seat to replace Gasly? It's me. Maybe not. Right, F1 2018 game. Moving on to F1 2018 Hungarian Grand Prix. And it was a pretty good one.
Yeah, it was quite competitive. You had a mixed bag within there, so it was a good all-round race. And one thing that definitely stood out was pit stops. I feel like strategy was one of the main things that comes out from the race itself. So maybe we're going to have another one this year.
Definitely agree with that. We'll go with, and just a reminder for you guys, so this was really the start where Hamilton started to put the kind of nails in Vettel's coffins title championship, extending his lead going into the summer break. He won the race, And then it was Vettel coming second and Kimi Raikkonen coming third. And also a very good drive from Daniel Ricciardo coming fourth, who started 12th in the race and had a pretty exciting race in the overtakes, didn't he?
He did, and we all know how flamboyant, I think we should use the word to describe Ricciardo when it comes to some of these overtakes. And last year was showing a whole bag of them.
It was actually really fantastic racecraft on it. Actually, he drove an absolute superb race, and a driver who needs a big race this weekend, who maybe didn't drive his best race last year, is
Valtteri Bottas.
Indeed,
definitely would have been one of the races last season where he wants to forget. He had quite a few of them last year, but it would definitely go down as being a race to forget for Valtteri.
Yeah, 2 collisions with the top drivers. With Vettel was the first one where it was a little bit. Vettel was ahead of him, and probably Bottas was in line with his back wheels when Vettel turned in, but realistically Bottas had lost the place.
I reckon you can look at it and say it's a racing incident, but Vettel had the corner there, and
he had every right to turn in on the racing line. He
Definitely.
was comfortably ahead of Bottas, and he wasn't coming back.
No.
Certainly not on the inside from that position.
No, and admittedly Bottas was at the stage with his tyres where the tyre wear had kicked in quite massively for him. It was definitely not the nicest set of tyres to be on, but still, he definitely needed to be pulling out of that one.
He did, and then the second one was with Danny Rick having that fantastic race. Ricciardo had gone, he'd allowed plenty of space for Bottas on the inside, but after damaging that wing in the previous collision with Vettel and having shot tyres, he just kept going in the corner.
That Mercedes was not stopping, was it?
And Ricciardo was the safety barrier to stop him.
Yeah, without Ricciardo, that Mercedes was going straight on, so it helped Bottas get round the corner.
He'd still be going now.
Probably. But it was a case that it would have been a harsh one for either driver there to have got a penalty. And it was unfortunate for Bottas. His tyres had gone, so really there wasn't a lot he could do about that. And it was quite smart of Mercedes, I think, to actually give him the call to let Ricciardo pass, just to make sure that penalty wasn't given.
Exactly, and then they could race from there. I mean, although it was a very reluctant let pass, right? He certainly let him pass, but he certainly
made him work
didn't
for it as
make
well.
it easy. Yeah, as well.
It was one of those where I don't want to let you pass, but I will do. So,
and I think probably we'll finish off with 2 more incidents. We'll talk about the other Red Bull driver who was attempting Morse code on his radio message, I think. And by Morse code, I mean there were lots of words that weren't for the viewing of daytime television.
No, but you can see where some of the frustration was coming from.
I think this was the peak of the Renault frustration.
It was, and it's actually the last time that Verstappen had a retirement in Formula One. So, I think that shows the frustrations that he had in the first half of last season with regards to the reliability of that Red Bull. So for him, he's definitely been able to show the consistency since, and the reliability side of things for Red Bull has definitely improved as well. So there's been a lot less of those sort of messages.
There certainly have. They've been a lot more jubilant, especially in 2 out of the last 3 races. Probably the last incident to take note of in Hungary last year was when Leclerc got caught in a Force India, they were still at that point, weren't they? Yes. Sandwich of Ocon and Checo, lost his front wing, retired. No race finish for you. So guys, looking ahead to this weekend, and obviously we had a fantastic race in German Grand Prix. It can't get better, surely.
I don't know whether it can get better, but there's likely to be a bit more of the technical driving, and it's going to be a bit more precise. A lot of the cars come with Monaco-esque setups, because it is effectively a Monaco track where you just have a little bit more leeway, really.
Yeah, there's quite a lot of mixtures of those kind of slow, long corners, which cars with good downforce on really kind of excel in, hence Red Bull.
Yeah.
And also the turns through 6, 7 after the slow right-hander on turn 5 is a really kind of challenging part of the circuit, I think.
Yeah, and there's not that many long straights, really. So it is...
No, there's just that kind of straight to the top of the hill.
Up the hill into the slight left-hander.
Obviously, the pit straight is quite a long straight. It's quite a long run into turn 1, isn't it?
Yes, so that's probably about it in terms of where overall power is going to have a massive say in things. It is definitely going to be a battle for the cars with more control of their aerodynamics.
Certainly. But Ferrari are coming with upgrade packages. They did very well in Germany. This isn't a circuit that probably should suit them. But I think we're both expecting them probably to do quite well this weekend.
Yeah, as I said with the stats, it is a track that historically Ferrari have done well with, and especially considering the fact that at the moment the forecast for the weekend is for it to be hot and hotter, that it does mean that
Mercedes have improved their cooling system, so that
they
surely can't defeat them again.
They say they have, but we haven't had an opportunity to actually see
what they've given it,
what they've done, because obviously
hugging handles for the Mercedes car.
Exactly, but because of the weather last weekend, we haven't actually been able to see whether or not the overall package design does give them the benefit that they're expecting. There's obviously been a lot of testing with it, so there is that potential, but it is one where you've got to think about it. It is very similar to Austria in the fact that it is going to be a hot weekend, short track, a lot of corners, so you haven't got all of the air actually flowing through, so cooling may be something that some of the teams do have a look at as being a consideration for the weekend.
So it will be interesting when it does kind of peg that Mercedes back, then again it looks like we will have an interesting battle at the top as well as an interesting battle in that midfield, which I think is everything we've all been excited about and what has made these last races so great.
It is, and we've got the 3 so far. We want that to continue. We want the 4th going into the summer.
Out of 4, yeah.
We want to go into the summer break with a bit of excitement in there.
It needs to go out with a bang. We've got 3 weeks without F1. We need to be kind of longing for more.
Well, a good thing would be going into the summer break with another exciting race, potentially with Max Verstappen getting a little bit closer to the Mercedes in terms of points within the Drivers' Championship, just so that when we're coming back, it is that closer battle.
We can dare to dream of a distant Max Verstappen thing, although however unlikely, I think I did run a Twitter poll, and obviously it was heavily in favour of no, Max can't catch him. But I think
we've decided as well that we don't think he can.
We have, but it would just be nice to go.
It'd be nice to have a battle.
Can he?
When you look at the previous few years in terms of Drivers' Championships, the best ones have been last season with Hamilton and Vettel at the beginning. The second half of the season, it was pretty much a dead cert that Hamilton was going to win. You then go back a little bit and you think of the battle between Hamilton and Rosberg when they were very close. And then before that, it would probably have been 2012 when we went into the final race of the season. And it was Webber, Vettel, Alonso, and Hamilton still had a distant. Admittedly, he needed to win the race, and I think it was all 3 of them needed to retire or something. But you look at it, and it was 4 drivers going into that final race with the potential of winning it.
That's what we want.
So it would be good to get that battle coming up to the end of the season. So this is where it starts.
Exactly. So back to Hungary on that point. So I think this weekend, that's probably a good point to go into our top 3 predictions.
Yeah, so bring out the app.
Oh no, not the app.
no.
Remember our top 3 predictions.
Oh,
before going into our
yes.
constructors Formula 1, Formula 1.5, and then we will
Then
get the F1 play out.
Yes, our ones where we get to go a little bit crazy with them.
Exactly. So
I think you need to go first this time.
I was going to say you went first
I
last
did,
time,
so
change it
I can
up.
see how crazy you're going with your predictions, and then.
Well, I will be the bar. So, it's not necessarily too crazy, but I'm going to go for both Ferraris to finish on the podium for the first time this season.
Okay.
And neither of them are going to win.
Okay.
I'm also going to go for Carlos Sainz will finish ahead of Pierre Gasly. Maybe not that bold, but with Gasly's current form, but I feel in a circuit that favours the Red Bull, it would be a surprise if the McLaren did beat the Red Bull. That would be very good for them going into summer break. And the last prediction is all cars will finish the race.
Oh. Okay. That one's quite bold.
I know.
Ooh. Okay. I'm going to go for quite a bold one. That's not that bold when you really think about it.
So it's kind of like a dimmer switch. It lights up the room, but not really.
Yeah. If you're going to hear it and you think, oh, actually, bold. But then you're going to think about it and you're going to go, actually, not really.
All right. The suspense is killing me.
I'm going to go for 3 engine failures.
Perfect.
Midway through the season, potential for it.
3 engine failures. Got it.
And that's going to be across the weekend.
Oh, covering bases there.
Yes, but...
So is this 3 exactly, or is this 3 or more?
3 exactly.
Okay.
I'm going to go 3 exactly across the weekend. I'm then going to go for...
Number 2.
All 4 rookies to beat their experienced teammates. So that's Lando Norris, George Russell, Giovinazzi and Alexander Albon.
Ooh.
All 4 to finish ahead of their teammates.
That is bold.
It is, but based on my predictions from the last one,
Yeah.
there's always one in there that's a bit...
Exactly, but our top 3 predictions seem to be nothing really entirely sensible, just... Well, I think mine were fairly sensible this week.
My ones, when you look at them from last week, were quite sensible. So,
whoever's first is sensible, whoever's second goes just completely nuts.
And
3.
then the third one, I want to say something quite silly, but I don't want to.
That's it.
I'm going to go for there being a disgruntled driver on the podium.
Right, so they were
Vettel,
leading.
Vettel-esque from Canada, but not that far.
Okay.
Because I don't think we're going to see something like that. We're going to...
No,
yeah.
I mean, that was very dramatic.
There's going to be something that's going to annoy a driver on the podium, and he's going to make it clear.
So not full diva, semi-diva.
Yes.
Got you. Okay.
Mine are probably a little bit too out there. And
right. And then I think it worked well when we did in our review, we did our rookie of the race. So let's do our predictions of the rookie of the race in the 4 order. I'm going to go number 1, Giovinazzi, 2, Lando, 3, Albon, and 4, GR, George Russell.
Okay. I'm going to go Albon, Lando, Giovinazzi, George Russell.
Oh, poor George, not showing love. But he's kind of like always got his hand behind his back in this one because he's driving the Williams car at the moment. And interesting point that we needed just raise for last week in that thing. Lance Stroll's strategy, where it obviously got him to lead in the race in the German Grand Prix and actually resulted in him finishing 4th at the same time that they made that bold call, George Russell was calling for the team to change onto slicks, and they didn't make that decision. So it's really interesting. Where would Williams have gone? He definitely would have finished top of the rookies if that had been the case. In a Williams car finishing within the top 6 or something like that.
Yes.
Right, moving back on. So then we have our Formula 1 constructors and Formula 1.5 constructors. Who will be the top scoring point constructors this weekend, Ash?
Formula 1. I'm going Red Bull.
Cool.
I think Gasly's going to be able to back Verstappen up this weekend.
This is now going to look like we coordinated our wardrobes perfectly, because I'm going to go for Ferrari. With that double podium of Leclerc and Vettel, naturally they would score the most points.
Yeah,
Gasly's going to be somewhere off in the distance because Sainz has finished above him. So
yeah, no, that's how maths works.
It's great.
And then Formula 1.5?
Formula 1.5 top scoring constructor. McLaren.
Toro Rosso.
Well, you know, they're similar to the Red Bull team.
I love the fact we both ended up going quiet there.
Yeah, because we were like...
I've gone bold again.
In my head, I was almost going to do Haas. But I can just see something going wrong in the Magnussen Grosjean show.
They had 2 cars finish the last race, so
yeah,
someone's got to retire.
Someone's going to be angry. Their radio messages were not friendly when they collided in Germany.
So yes.
Right, so that covers nicely. I think we're excited for the Hungary Grand Prix this weekend. So that naturally only leaves us with F1 play predictions. Ash,
yes.
You would please.
So let's get the app.
We did slightly discuss these before, so there should be like none of the, oh my god, you picked him too, great.
Yes. There will be some times where we do overlap, but we do want to try and get it that as much as possible we're not giving the exact same answers.
That's boring.
It is, and it doesn't lend itself to having decent conversations because we end up saying the same thing.
Yeah, we say, oh, yeah, me too.
So
that's sad.
So yes. So, am I going first as we're using my app, or are you wanting to say yours?
Let's go you first, and then this time I will try not to jump the gun.
Okay.
And interrupt you like last time.
Okay, so on F1 Plays, the questions that they ask you to predict are the same every week, so you can start thinking about them for future races as well.
Oh, remember, it is an entirely free app to use. We do not sponsor this app at all. We are just F1 fans desperately trying to get ourselves through a Grand Prix for free. And we are desperately failing because for the second week in a row, we guessed the right team where, I mean, the German Grand Prix was entirely unpredictable, so no one was getting that. But we got the right team retiring, just the wrong driver.
Well, I'm going to put it out there. So far this season, only one person has won tickets to the US Grand Prix.
And that was in Austria.
So, you know,
we've got a big Max fan.
We've got a long way to go. So we're going to have to try and, yeah.
This is the one.
We've got 2 heads working on this one. We should be able to get it. But, let's get on to it then. So, it is predicting your podium.
Got ya.
Now, we figured out what your podium's going to be, based on your predictions.
You don't know the order.
But mine is going to be a Max Verstappen win. I want to say Hamilton second because I think he's going to have a recovery weekend. But I'm going to go for Leclerc and Hamilton being third.
Okay, I am going for Max going first again. I think this is more both hopeful for us because, well, one, Max is the driver in form, and also it would be absolutely fantastic going into the summer break with Max, like we said, giving that distant dream of, ooh, could he?
Never know.
Number 2 for me is going to be Man buoyed from confidence from his fantastic 20 to second position. That is Sebastian Vettel coming in. The German had a very strong race there, pretty consistent last time out, and I'm going to back him again. And then that leaves with Charles Leclerc coming in for a solid number 3.
Okay. And then the next one is, who do you think is going to get the fastest lap? Now, we've both made it clear we think that the Red Bull is going to be fast around the track. I don't think Verstappen will get the fastest lap. So that means strategic pit stop. Pierre Gasly, fastest lap.
And I am going for Max Verstappen because I think he's going to put in the fastest lap. So that is both Red Bulls. We disagree.
Yeah.
Yay! Conversation.
Yeah.
Woo!
There's not much conversation when we're going for the same team for the same reason. We're just changing driver.
Yeah, but pit stops and stuff.
Okay, so who will finish in the highest position out of Daniel Ricciardo, Nico Hülkenberg, Roman Grosjean, Kevin Magnussen, Carlos Sainz, Lando Norris, or Kimi Räikkönen? I am going for Lando. I'm changing my mind from what I told you. I've changed my mind. I know that I said Kevin Magnussen when we were discussing it, but
You bottled it.
I have.
Bold job.
That's too bold.
Now you've done it. He's going to do it now. I'm going to stick with my answer that we previously discussed with Ashley, and I'm going for the new King of Spain, Carlos Sainz, who is having an absolutely superb season.
Yes.
His consistency will continue.
Well, I can't say Carlos Sainz because I've said that the rookies are going to be their teammate. So, in that case,
You're stuffed. You
Yeah.
couldn't choose Kimi.
No, I couldn't. So,
It was
Actually,
only
I could have said
Grosjean,
Kimi.
Magnussen. He's not a rookie.
he's not a rookie, but I could have said Kimi on this one, couldn't I? Because Giovinazzi's not in there.
Oh.
Could have had a turn up for the books with Giovinazzi finishing 4th and Kimi 5th.
Yeah.
That wouldn't happen, but
No.
it still fits. But
Yeah.
So let's get on to the next one then. Same thing.
We should, yes.
Who's going to finish highest? But it's between Sergio Perez, Lance Stroll,
Yeah.
Antonio Giovinazzi,
You're winner.
Daniel Kvyat, Alexander Albon, George Russell, and Robert Kubica.
And you go for,
Alexander Albon.
and I go for Giovinazzi.
Yeah, it is what it is. I think Toro Rosso is going to do well.
I think Giovinazzi is going to do well because he's starting to put in some consistent performances. Like I said about the German Grand Prix, he actually drove a very good race. The penalties were not really down to him or Raikkonen's fault. Team cock up.
Yes. So, it's then which driver is going to be the first to retire.
Almost did it. Almost.
You
jumped in.
almost jumped the gun. I knew you were going to as well.
I
That's
had to stop myself.
I am going to leave this one a little bit open. I want to have the discussion because I can't actually decide.
Right.
It's between one of the Hasses
Okay.
or Nico Hülkenberg.
Okay.
It would include Daniel Ricciardo in that, other than the fact that they are using a new engine this weekend
So
that is
Ashley's
safe for it.
basically saying
I
he
don't
doesn't
know.
want to be held responsible because you can change these predictions right up until before the start of the race, so you can see qualifying happen and make your judgments on that. So Ashley's going, oh, I'm going to wait.
I'm going to make the prediction now. I just want to have the discussion there.
All right. Okay.
Because the fact that the Renault's not reliable.
All right. 5, 4,
No, this isn't a
3,
discussion, this is you counting down.
2. It's kind of a discussion.
K-Mag.
1. Right. Kevin Magnussen's
Oh,
retired first.
I clicked Carlos Sainz, let's change that.
It's Kevin Magnussen. And
K-Mag.
going in with my top 3 predictions, no one. It's going to be a clean racing out there.
Okay.
Definitely.
So, it's now, how many classified finishers will there be? Which,
I think I have to go with
you're jumping the
20.
gun again.
Well, I think mine's pretty obvious
It
because
is. I'm going 18. Well, you know, I'm going away from my 17 that I've predicted for both of them so far.
I'm going away from my 18. We're changing up. I'm going for new retirements. Ashley is going for
18.
Yes, retirements.
2 retirements even, not 18 retirements. That would be a very eventful race.
18 retirements, George Russell and Robert Kubica finish, and Kubica claims the victory, and Russell's like, when will I win?
And then we get Antonio Giovinazzi managing to get the 3rd place on the podium as he was the last person to retire.
Oh,
Retiring on the final lap, so he's technically still classified.
that is amazing.
That would be a great race.
I mean, that would be like, how could we get better? 18 retirements.
Okay, and then will there be a full on-track safety car period? We've had the discussion and I'm still not sure on this one as well.
I'm going no.
I know you're going no, but there's not many runoffs. There is runoffs even.
Okay.
There's not many places where it would cause a safety car.
Unless it was on track.
Yes, and I've said that there's going to be engine failures, so let's just go yes, because it fits in with my other predictions.
But engine failures last year, they just drove off.
They did, but...
They didn't get safety cars. No safety car last year.
Yeah.
There was only a virtual.
There was a virtual safety car. So all it takes is for someone to do it a little bit better for me and get it just...
Here's hoping. I mean, we're covering a lot of bases here, so we...
1 minute.
This
Let me
might be-
think. Wasn't it Hungary where a few years back someone retired and then the car just nicely rolled back down the hill? You know what I'm talking about as well.
I think you might be right.
That would cause a safety car.
I
We
know.
can have that again. We're going to have to check if that's correct, and we'll have a nice little banner somewhere that says, yes, Ash was right.
He really wants to be right.
I do, and I'm pretty sure it was Hungary.
I've just got this image of this Formula 1 car just going by and the driver going...
Do you know what? This is going to be quite weird, but in my head I've got Fernando Alonso.
Last year?
Not last year.
It was his birthday last year.
No, I'm not saying last year. I'm saying this is
He
a
got
couple
an
of years
8th
ago.
place finish on his birthday. It was a very good drive in the McLaren of last year.
But I'm just saying, a few years back, I've got in my head like the car of Fernando Alonso. He obviously wasn't in it at the time.
What do you mean he wasn't in it at the time?
Well, he'd retired.
What do you mean? You just got out of it and it just
No,
started rolling down the hill?
Yes. I've got in my head that...
It seems like a bit of a comedy sketch of, he's like standing by his car.
You
like
can't
going,
write this.
Thanks for recovering, guys.
I can't
And then like going, just pick it up.
Though.
Oh, wait. No.
I can't have made this up though. There's too much to this story.
I mean, you could have made this up.
If I have.
If it has, if you could please donate to the help of Ashley's Memory Foundation.
I'm going to find out what race it was and what year it was and whose car it was, and we are going to put a banner saying what it is, because I'm sure it was in Hungary.
We've got
I'm pretty sure it was Fernando Alonso. He retired at the top of the hill. He's got out of his car, and then it's just rolled back down.
Okay.
Or the car was rolling towards him.
All right. Okay. Let's
scrap that. We'll banner.
Yes to a safety car.
Look, what I'm going to do, we're going to see if we can do this in editing. I'm going to move my hands, and you're going to create the banner to match it.
Like a reverse rainbow.
There we go. Okay.
So guys, Ash actually was right, and it was the Marussia of the late Jules Bianchi at the Nürburgring. So we did get it wrong. It wasn't Hungary, but it was in the German Grand Prix. It was a very funny image of it rolling down, and it was only stopped by the advertising board. Crazy enough, Ash was right.
Right. And then the final one, winning margin.
I'm going to go for right smack bang in the middle, because I haven't picked it yet.
Jump the gun again.
That's what I do.
Yeah, okay, fine.
Yeah, but
I go off on a laughing fit because it's something
look,
crazy.
You know, we stick to order, first half of the predictions, and then it gets to the last half, and I completely forget that I meant to wait, and I just say, I know what I'm doing.
Okay, that's fine. You're being professional.
2.5 to 7.5. I don't think I'm being professional, but this has gone very unprofessional.
7.5 or more. Max Verstappen.
Blitz in it.
I'm confident in him.
I mean, that is very confident.
Mad Max going for it, and look at that. They've been entered as well.
Is there?
I'm confident. I'm
Might
off to the
change it
US. I'm off to the US Grand Prix.
Can I come? It's 2 tickets.
It's 2 tickets. Yeah, might as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we'll
You
do a
can't
video.
go for me.
Oh.
It's awkward.
Imagine that though. We'd actually get to do our qualifying for practice, qualifying and race
The
reviews
Grand
then.
Prix. Yeah. We better win.
Yeah, it'd be great.
Anyway, again we've got distracted dreaming of a distant
Of what could
future. Of what could be. Anyway guys, that is our Hungarian Grand Prix preview. I think we talked about the race just enough to make it a preview and went crazy enough, just enough to maybe keep people interested in the fact that we might talk about F1 or talk about F1 that is related to this weekend.
Yes, well, we're getting better.
We've had 3 great races. Is it too much to ask for 4?
That's all we want. Another great race.
Yeah. Then it's a summer break. Right.
Get ourselves rested up for a fantastic end to the season.
Indeed. So we will let you know, because there is a slight difference to our race weekend videos this week. As you probably noticed, there was no F1 Fancy Weekly podcast out yesterday. That is because Zach was unwell, so we were unable to do the recording. But me and him are going to be recording that Thursday night, and that video will come out on the Friday. And as me and Ash are both previously engaged on the Friday, we cannot cover free practice 1 and 2. So I'll try to get out on Twitter and give some updates on there, and we'll also probably give a brief roundup on that in my qualifying vid, which I will do on Saturday, and then Ash, as usual, will do the race reaction on Sunday.
Yeah.
And then driver ratings, which seem to go down quite well on the Monday, with reviewing all of the hope, chaos and carnage on the Tuesday. Guys, if you like what we do, don't forget, give us a thumbs up.
Make sure to click the subscribe button and also click the bell to get notifications for when our videos are coming out.
And
In the comments,
oh,
I'm going to go for it. In the comments, I want someone to tell us what race I'm talking about.
or if Ashley,
Or if I'm wrong completely.
or if Ashley is delusional and he's made stuff up, he's hallucinating.
That's what. First person
We need
put
to
it
know,
in
by the
there.
way.
Yeah, first person to put in the comments what race I'm talking about. Even if you're telling me that I've got the wrong race, wrong car, anything, we'll get a like from us and we'll make sure to reply to it with some sort of message explaining the reason why I went mad at that point.
Exactly. And also comment on your predictions for this weekend. Will it be as good as what we've previously had? Are you excited? Do you agree that we think it will be a weekend that Mercedes don't actually get any podium positions? I mean, it's a bold call considering that the team have dominated most of the season to date. But we live for bold calls. We are the bold callers. You might as well call us F1 fanatics, the bold call.
Yes.
That doesn't ring too well.
It didn't flow as well as I thought it was going to.
No. All right, well, we'll keep working on the slogan. It happens. Our usual slogan is, you F1 fans, remember, keep racing.